All right, hey Andrew, here we are again. Um, by now you've got your hook tied on with your bullet weight facing the right direction. So now we're going to go into actually hooking the bait. So you can get your weight out of the way. And what we're going to want to do I should say, some baits have a top and a bottom. Some don't. Like the other bait that you have in the bag doesn't have a bottom. This particular one, the Robo Worm, it does have a top and a bottom. So the brown stripe, the flavor stripe, you want that to be on the bottom. So you eventually want the this to be the top, and that only makes a difference when you're doing this Texas rig thing. So you'll kind of see it once we get done. But when you do the Texas rig, you're going to go through the tip, right? And it's going to end up looking like this on the bait. Hopefully you can see this. It's going to look like this. You're going to have the tip of the worm up here with the bulk of the hook on the bottom of the bait, and the tip will come out the top. So to do that, we're going to run, usually if you look at this tip right here, that's about how far you want to run the hook in to the bait, and then you want to take it out the bottom. Okay, so kind of try to get right through the middle and then take it right out the bottom. See right there, it's through the bottom. Then work it around, and then when you get here, we're going to twist it around. This is the part where you just want to go gentle, and you can see the bait goes over the hook and actually over the eye a little bit. That's perfectly fine. You don't want to go in too far, otherwise this tip will get tore up too quickly, and you don't want it to be too short because it'll make noise and expose your hook a little bit, and that's not always the best thing. So then when we come here, this is the most important part. So what you want to do is you want to kind of see how the hook lays naturally, and then mark it with your thumb, right where the hook point or the bend of the hook is. You want to mark that part of the bait with your thumb, and that's where you want the hook to go through. So you're gonna put a little curve in here, and you want the hook to go through there and go through the middle and go all the way through the back, and you're then it should look like this. Okay. Now if you left it like that, it'd work fine, but it wouldn't be weedless. You'd catch any weeds or hooks or anything that you find will get hooked on there. So what we want to do is we want to do what's called a skin hook. So we're just going to kind of work the hook back a little bit, and then just barely skin it through the top of the bait. And you can't. I imagine this might be hard for you to see, but the tip of the hook is really just kind of skinned in there. So there you go. This is what a Texas rig looks like. So if you look up on the internet, you'll find all kinds of information about this. So the other thing I wanted to do real quick was talk about how to work it. So what you're gonna do is you'll cast it out, and when you cast, you'll see. I'm sure you've um, I'm sure you've probably done this before, um, but I don't know if you've ever worked a bait that doesn't have a bobber, and it's all done by feel, and by looking actually. So when you cast out, you'll see the your line will have a little bit of slack in it, and you'll see the little loops from it being on the spool. And if you look out at the very end, you'll see your line it'll slowly go into the water. And then when it hits the bottom, there'll be like a little pop, and you'll kind of see the line just kind of pop a little bit, and then it'll stop moving. Now, if it's windy out, then the line may move. You may see it drift a little bit, but the important thing is when you cast, think about when you hear the plop, and just kind of in a general area, kind of count about how long it takes for it to get to the bottom, maybe like 3 seconds. And then the next time you cast, um, you'll know that if your line stops moving, say you count it off like 3 or 4 seconds, and the line stopped moving after a second, there's a good chance that you have a fish on there, because that's when you're going to catch fish most of the time, is on the fall or the first time you work it afterwards. So that's why you really want to pay attention when you're casting too. And you don't have to be exact, and it's not, you'll get some other signs after that as well. Um, if you see the line moving when it's not in the wind, like you cast and it drops, and then all of a sudden you see your line being pulled off to one side or the other, the fish might have grabbed it and taken it. And so in that case, what you're going to want to do is you want to click your bail, and then I try to see if I can get this on video. I usually either try to if I'm feeling, I'll put my finger on the line, or on a decent rod, you can feel the rod itself, and you can feel any ticks or pulls or whatever. And if you think you have a fish, you're going to want to tighten down your line, and then uh, until you kind of start feeling, you want to get all the slack out, and then until you start feeling like a little tug or a pull. And if you feel a tug or a pull, don't ask any questions and just set the hook. I'm going to run out of space here, so good luck, and